Hi, Mrs. Iwanski back for day 3 of math maintenance. Remember, we are just trying to keep our skills sharp so that when we go back to school, when we go back to our regular math learning and our teachers are ready to teach us new concepts, we are ready to learn and we are ready to go. So today's review concept for you, our math maintenance concepts, are about representing numbers again, and also how we can quickly in our head jump ahead by counting on what we already know. Now I have two different kinds of number representations up on my board today. One of them is in our tens chart that we looked at yesterday, and the other one is in tally marks, which we also looked at yesterday. The great thing about both of these ways to represent numbers is that we can kind of skip ahead in our heads if we see that 5 has already been completed. So in my first tally marks up here, I know that 5 little lines are marked like this, 4 little lines, and then a diagonal going across. So that lets me know to start my counting at 5, and then I just add on what's next to it, 5, 6, 7. So these tallies represent 7. I can do the same thing in one of these 10 charts. If I see that one whole row is filled in, I start at 5, and then I just add on how many more are in the next row. So 5, 6. I'm saving time of counting all of these individually and counting all of my little lines individually by remembering what groups of 5 look like in these two number representations. So a group of 5 looks like either 4 lines and a slash or 5 dots in a row. Let's try this one together. I'm looking at this representation, and before I even start counting those lines, I'm seeing my job is so easy on this one. There's 4 little lines and a slash going across. That tells me it's a group of 5 tallies. I'm going to give you a second to try this one on your own. Remember to check that top row first and see if we have a group of 5, and then add on whatever underneath. Did you get 9 when you added them all up? A row of 5, and then I could count on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That one's 9. Let's look at these tallies. Same thing, think in your head first. A group of 5 tallies looks like 4 lines and a diagonal going across. So I have 2 of those groups. I can do my skip counting. 5, 10. No need to count up each of those little lines individually. Let's try this one. Look across that top row. I have a whole group of 5. Then just add on what's underneath. So 5, 6, 7. I'm seeing now that I've represented 7 in 2 different ways, but they're kind of similar. So here I had a group of 5. Here I had a group of 5. Here I had 2 standalone marks. And here I had 2 standalone dots. Let's see if any of the rest of these match something else that we've already counted. Let's look at this guy. 2 full lines of 5. I can do that same skip counting thing. 5, 10. Just like when I represented 10 with tally marks, I have 2 complete sets of dots. I had 2 complete sets of tallies. Moving on, here's a group of 5. Then I just add on the 3 that are left. This is a group of 8. One more to practice with today. Here's a complete row of 5, so then I just add on what's underneath. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just like the one up here, we did it the same way. Row of 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. The first sheets that you're going to practice with today in your packet are doing exactly what we just did. So you're going to count and match your sets of 10, looking across how many little stars are in the box. When you find it, draw a line to the number that it goes to. The other page is tallies. Now they've used flowers to make their tally marks, but don't let that throw you off. It's the same thing. Each flower is like a little line, so when they put a flower on the diagonal here, that means that it's a group of 5 flowers. So the count and match sheets that are in your packet are the first thing that you're going to work on. Give me a second to erase my board, and then we'll practice the other concept before you go off and work. All right, I got my board set and ready to go. The other skill that we want to practice today is counting on. The idea of counting on we just kind of did by always starting with 5. So when we got that group of 5, we said we're at 5, and then we could start counting after that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Counting on can happen at any number. So we want to get really good at knowing what comes after a certain number. So when I think about picking any number in the world, maybe I would pick 72, then can I think in my head 72, and the next numbers would be 73, 74, 75, so that I could start at any number and count up from there. Let's practice that together. So if I start at 10, what comes after 10? What are the next 3 numbers that come in our series? So we'd have 10, 11, 12, and 13. What if I started something smaller, like 6? 6, then comes 7, 8, and 9. What if I started something really big, like 19? 19, 20, oops, I was thinking ahead too far. 20, 21, 22. What if I started something even bigger, like 26? 26, 27, 28, 29. You may have noticed that I skipped 8. As a challenge, I want you to think about, can you go the other direction? What if 8 came at the end of our series? What had to come before it? So now I have to count backwards. 8, 7, 6, and 5. Knowing your numbers well enough to go forwards from them or backwards from them will really help you when we start talking about adding numbers together and subtracting numbers from each other, because we'll need to add on to numbers and subtract off of numbers. You can always think about our counting boards and how we've used like a tens frame, and then, okay, if I have a full tens frame and then I add 1, I have 11, and I add another piece, I have 12, and another piece, I have 13. So you can think about those tools we use. You can always also think about a number line. And so having all your numbers laid out in order and just moving up the number line. You could also use a hundreds chart to see what comes before or after given numbers. In your packet today, you have 2 pages to help you practice counting on. One looks like this, and the other looks like that. This page uses smaller numbers, the biggest one being 12. The other one uses bigger numbers, going all the way up to 96. It asks you to fill in 4 numbers after the numbers. So 3, and then you would write 4, 5, 6, 7, counting on from where you left off. For your activity today, what I would like you to do is to use your number cards that you have counted out. I would like you to practice pulling random number cards and saying the number that comes before that number and the number that comes after that number. So for example, if the number card that you pulled out of your deck said 52, then you would say, well, the numbers are 51, 52, and 53. Or if the random number card you pulled out was 19, say, okay, the before number is 18 and the after number is 20. You could go through a couple of your number cards, you could go through all your number cards, but practicing what comes before and after numbers will really help you as we get into harder concepts. Good luck with practicing today, counting on, and also continuing representing numbers in different ways.